Good afternoon, dear audience. Grandmaster Sergey Shipov is greeting you again from his home analysis laboratory. Next to me I have full bookcases, 3 computers, my cat, and a cup of hot tea. Everything that is needed to do some work. Chess has something from God. Incredible harmony, magical combination of simple truth with unbelievable mysteries. I recommend you to try and plunge inside. In the 3rd round it was very hard for me to pick a game to comment on, but I had to take a pick. So, the center of our attention today will be Kamsky and Kamsky-Morozevich. Let's take a look at what happened. What a shame. I was really hoping to see an interesting duel in the French defense. Looks like Kamsky successfully scared everyone with a solid win against Ivanchuk in the last round of the Olympiad in Dresden. The Rai Lopez. The Tkachov, Malanek, Onishuk variation. This trio of grandmasters started playing like this in the mid-90s of the last century. I mean this exact modern interpretation. The actual pattern b5, bishop b3, bishop c5 is being practiced for more than a century and a half, and only now did we start understanding its real power. Black let the dark squared bishop free and now is trying to get the light squared bishop to work. The square g4 is waiting for it. The weakening of the queen side is being used by white to develop the rook a1. The opposition of the rooks is dangerous for black. Kamsky is taking his time. Looks like he's remembering the theory and his own analysis. This is only the beginning of the opening battle. So that's what it is. Looks like the American Grandmaster decided not to open up his cards before the coming up match against Topalov, which, by the way, starts on February 3rd. And because of that, fought the desire to play in the main variation. The main variation here is d4. But again, d3 was played. White declined from the immediate take over the center, which means that black has some time to calmly develop and comfortably place his pieces. The move that is usually played here, bishop g4, is too early. Very careful game. A novelty. Morozevich is threatening with a systematic attack on the king's side. The move h3 could be weakening if the black knight occupies the square f4, and the Moscowite will get the fire onto himself. The knight's desertion from the post wants to be used with the blow d4. The main move here instead of knight e7 is actually h6. But again, knight e7 was played. With the black bishop on c5 and not on b6, when the pawn b5 would be unsupported, this move looks strange. I need to think to understand this idea. Not for long. The point here is that this is the shortest way to e3. The jump knight f4 is no good for now due to the trade bishop takes f4, which will give white a clear advantage for the better pawn structure. A wise decision. The opening will be useful later, and it's a good idea to defend against the jump knight g5, which can be very unpleasant in some variations. But for now, I don't see any advantage in the opening for white. White is protecting the pawn e4 and strengthening the idea d4. A beneficial prophylactic move. All in all, Morozevich is playing a little faster than Kamsky. He has an hour and 33 minutes left to Kamsky's hour and 13. The square d5 is protected, and the storm to f5, I guess Morozevich thought of it as not dangerous enough for him. With this move, he is organizing the move of the queen to the king's side. The square g4 will be a supporting square for many white knights. And another creeping move with more than clear plans to attack on the king's side. The pawn f7 is now free to go fight. Personally, I would have preferred the move bishop e6, but after declining this move once, Sasha quite logically declined it once more. He doesn't want to trade pieces. Like he needs to meet the old man in the middle game with the maximum amount of pieces on the board, so it would be harder. Tactics are as old as the world, though I'm not sure that Kamsky is an old man. Taking into account the 8-year-long academic vacation, he is quite a young chess player. I think in the case of solidity of the nervous system, he will give a start to today's youth and Morozevich as well. A standard Spanish knight's pirouette. In the case of the trade on g4, there will be a white pawn that will become a wonderful support for the knight on f5. Played very risky. Looks like Morozevich is ready for everything, to take out the opponent for complications, so to say. The structure is changing towards white's advantage. Oh, that's the Moskowitz idea. He is pushing the queen closer to the white king, which could unnerve Gata. And really, the complications are starting. Gata is cutting off the bishop b6 from the king's side. What is going on? Concession after concession. The soldier is tired of sitting in the ditch. White has a beautiful center, but it's lacking the support of the pieces. And here's the solution. Looks like Sasha decided that the pressure on c4 will let him weaken the opponent's structure. Decided, but did he calculate correctly? A simple and strong answer. The knight is protecting the pawn and terrorizes the enemy. The trade on f5 will give white an extra tempo for the attack. I think black is having problems. The acknowledgement of the mistakes of the work. Black's play is at a dead end. He has to patiently defend, giving up space and mobility of pieces. The center is supported. And now white is getting a powerful pawn mass ready for movement, and as a bonus, the advantage of 2 bishops. The time of position changed. Now Gata has 52 minutes to Morozevich 43. Very quickly played. Kamsky is standing in the way of the break through d5, ready to meet it with the blow e5, and with the pawn on d6, it's quite good as well. The best defense against the threat. Another very strong move. Black has a very unpleasant position. All attempts to escape lead to destruction, and passive game will only lengthen the road to death. Here you have the old man. Plays very powerfully and solidly. Another attempt to escape. I can't find good enough variations for Morozevich's fans. I have no way to comfort you, my friends. Without Kamsky's help, there's nothing we can do. The most tenacious. Black would have a good compensation for the exchange if he had time to consolidate his power, but white is energetically holding on to the initiative. The rook b8 is under attack. The most important move. The bishop c2 is becoming a stronger attacker. I don't see a way to save. Morozevich is desperately counter-attacking. White is always a step ahead. There's the threat of the bishop c2 jumping to h7. And the last blow. Through h6 or f5, white will move to h7. Black resigns. A very solid victory by Kamsky. Honestly speaking, Morozevich is at fault here all on his own. He obviously underestimated the opponent, no matter how strangely that sounds in regard to the winner of the World Cup. Gave up the center, provoked the advantages for white complications, and literally forced Kamsky to attack. The American Grandmaster played powerfully in the end, not giving the opponent a single chance. For you again, dear audience, was working the Russian Grandmaster Sergey Shipov. Best wishes to you, and until tomorrow. And just as a postscriptum, believe me, Morozevich will have his wins yet.